I've been talking about it forever, and now it's happening. What we're seeing for the first time is the collapse of all these programs that have made these insane promises, no different than we talked about a couple videos ago with Lambda School. Today, we're talking about the colossal failure of App Academy. And would you go to a school that's going to charge you $35,000 to $40,000 just to take away almost all of your live real resources and replace it with AI? It sounds insane. So today, this is what we want to start off with, and we're going to transition over here. We're going to go over to this Reddit thread that popped up. App Academy fired all of its cohort leaders for AI. Guys, this is absolutely wild. In the middle of the day during class, our cohort leaders were kicked out of the student Slack channels, and App Academy made it impossible for us to reach out to our leaders personally. We later discovered that all the cohort leaders were laid off abruptly. Imagine how bad it has to be for them to say abruptly. They did not give us the opportunity to say goodbye. To make a long post shorter, he essentially is replacing all cohort leaders with software. He's replacing cohort leaders with AI, all for making it easier for students to get jobs, according to CEO Kush. And we're going to go through a video just like what we talked about a second ago. We're going to see this in more details because these guys need to be absolutely ironed. They need to be taken care of. And this is the problem with these individuals jumping into education, using it purely as an opportunity for advancement for themselves, right? They're not doing it for the right intentions. And I'm going to talk more about this in just a moment. Students are desperately looking for a way out of the program, but if we drop out, we will owe the school $256 for every day that we have attended. And then when we go down here, right? I'm a recent grad and was also in this meeting. They mentioned that the money was low because they haven't been placing students in actual jobs and making money from them. So they decided to go this route. I was incredibly cautious and throwing over $30K at this company when they can't even place job searchers enough to stay afloat. And this is where we see the real problem. I have been preaching this in every single video. And I'm going to go to App Academy's website to point out this major problem, right? We need to have the honest conversation, me and you, right here, right now in this moment. You will not have a job transition in 12 or 24 weeks. We need to clearly understand this. It's not going to happen. If you expect a job transition to just happen in 24 weeks, that's the same thing as saying, hey, I'm going to go to Tinder and just suddenly expect people to love me because I'm under 6 foot, right? Listen, guys, I'm 5'10". I understand the pains of being under 6 foot tall. You immediately get just labeled out, right? It's a random label. But the truth of the matter is that is what is happening right now, right? So I'm going to focus this on myself. Education has one job. It is an educator's job to do everything they can to support you, to do everything we can to really give you the knowledge that you need and the resources that you need to have success. But we cannot guarantee a job any more than, I don't even know what analogy to use because it's so insane. You cannot join a program with the expectation that you're guaranteed a job at the very end, right? Two people are not the same. You might have one individual who's highly motivated, wanting to do everything, and another individual who just was pushed through, just like in high schools, right? You have the students that are self-motivated who will go all the way through and work their tails off. Then you have the individuals who will essentially be pushed through the system because they kind of have to. They kind of have to be pushed through. They need them to graduate. They need their graduation rates to look good. And this is what happens with what the current government has done and what the system has trained you to believe. The system has trained you to believe that for you to get a job, it's not your responsibilities, it's an educator's responsibility. And that is absolute bullshit, right? And this is why we're seeing these major programs being faced with these massive lawsuits. They're being faced with having to cut tons of jobs because they started their businesses with unreasonable models. They started the business with this massive guarantee of I can guarantee you a job, right? That is not how Devslopes works. We cost less than these guys. We offer more resources, and they're only going to cut you and cheat you out of what you really need. So what I want to really cut here is looking at everything happening. If you don't find a job over $50,000 in a certain amount of time, tuition is free. Seems like the odds are in favor. That is not true, right? This is simply not true. I think that time frame is 10 years. Right? It's completely unrealistic. Now, this is an email that their CEO Kush sent out. I want to start by acknowledging that the cohort instruction assistant role was removed, right? They removed their mentors. That sucks for students. That's what you need. Job outcomes remain the North Star and guide our decisions. The majority of our students are on deferral payment plans or income share agreements, which keeps us aligned with your interest. These decisions were made with a focus on maximizing job outcomes and the benefit of our decade in hindsight for what we've improved for what outcomes is a challenging job market. Again, this is the truth of the matter, right? There's two things to look at. Number one, no one wants to hire your students. One of the reasons why is because they only studied for 12 to 24 weeks. 3 to 6 months is not enough for you to get a job. It's just not. In what world do we start thinking, hey, let's shorten the time frame as much as possible and force people into jobs? Imagine if we took that philosophy and applied it to our doctors, our lawyers, everybody. You would not want to go to the doctor who got his $10,000 degree and suddenly started actually helping people, right? No. People want to hire an individual who spent, 16 months studying, gaining freelance work, learning how to sell themselves, learning how to communicate, learning how to really be a professional. That's who they want to hire. They don't want to hire Joe Schmo who goes to a 3 to 6 month long program, gets out and thinks they're just entitled to a job. This is not how it works. And this is the problem that is plaguing education so fucking much. I'm so fed up with seeing these individuals selling individuals on this idea that you need to just come to us because we can give you everything you need, right? No. False. It's unfair. And what makes me so angry as a CEO of a vocational school is seeing how many people are clearly being taken advantage of. The path to getting a job in 2023 and onwards is a 3-step process. Step number 1, you go and you learn under a mentor. You cannot force the learning process, right? HTML and CSS may go great for you, or it may take you a little bit longer. And then, right, you get to JavaScript and React, this may not click for you. We have students who have been stuck in JavaScript for upwards of 3 months because they just can't click on it. It's fine. Take your time. If you rush the process, you rush delivering a really terrible product, which is your students. They're being rushed entirely too fast, right? So you learn with a mentor. Number 2, you go out and get freelance work the moment you can. The moment you can build static websites, everybody wanting a Wix website, a Squarespace website, a WordPress website. Go out and sell yourself to them. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a tip on how I actually teach our students how to sell stuff. This is what I wanna do. I'll do the entire thing free, right? The entire thing free. And once I complete the deliverable, and then if you're happy, what we'll do is discuss maybe $100 or $200 a month on a continual basis just to make sure that you really have what you need, and I'll be your IT guy, right? No need to go try to do it yourself. I'll take care of that and help you out so you don't have to do it anymore. I'll be your support. And once you learn how to have those professional conversations, you can manage yourself under conflict. You understand how to be a professional. That's who employers want to hire. They do not want to hire the guy or the girl who went to a 12 or 24 week program. It is just not realistic. But these programs don't understand that. For some reason, I think the CEOs are just too stupid to comprehend that. It looks like it from what I'm seeing. The way he presents himself, the way he communicates, is absolutely horrific. I can't imagine this being the CEO of a company that is responsible for educating hundreds to thousands of people every single year. I am severely embarrassed that I am in the same category as some of these individuals because this is completely wrong. It is completely wrong. Not using AI, right? That it's okay. Right? If you have AI to support students, especially when it's out of office hours, great idea. But just replacing the core fundamental pieces of what your students need and trying to force this shit to take place in 12 to 24 weeks is insane. And again, I want to jump back to this one aspect of their website. This stupid idea. Master today's most in-demand coding skills. Pay $0 until you're hired. No, right? You're going to make that first payment within 8 to 12 months, sometimes 16 months. Usually your first payment's due in about 8 to 12 months after joining a program. I know that because, guys, I'm the one who speaks to the loan providers. I'm actually going to be honest. As a student in our online full-time program, you'll go from having 0 experience in coding to being competitive in the tech market in just 24 weeks. I'm gonna be upfront. If you're going against one of our students who's been working at this for 16 months, has gotten freelance work, and is now applying for jobs, you got no chance. You have no chance. You have to view this as an investment. What company wants to invest in somebody when they aren't even able to get 3 resources from clients to say, working with John was amazing, right? He absolutely is new to coding, but he was amazing in terms of communication, telling me when the project was going to be done, hitting deadlines. He had to push a couple deadlines, but he did a great job making me feel comfortable with what was going on. I would highly recommend anybody to work with John. He's an amazing guy. That's what you're looking for. You need to learn how to get those projects. Yet, these programs want you to think that in just 24 weeks, you're going to be ready. Nonsense, guys. That's like saying, I'm going to get a six-pack in 24 weeks, even though I weigh 300 pounds. No, right? A complete body transformation takes 16 to 24 months in the exact same way that learning new skills does. So let's go over here. Let's look at what more of this amazing CEO has to say.
So you mentioned that laying off the cohort leads was done to maximize student value, maximize ROI for student value. But to me, the end of the day is that our cohort lead, John, was going.
These students join this program with the expectation of getting a service, expectation of working with mentors who understand not just the problems they're solving. AI will not speak to this for a long portion of time. When you are stuck on a problem, sometimes as a coach, the best thing you could tell somebody is, hey, John, it seems like you're really frustrated right now. What I need you to do is go on a quick walk, right? Go on a run, go work out, maybe play some video games, and then come back. Sometimes you're not in the right mindset. I know for a fact, when I've done a lot of my best work, I hit an absolute obstacle. I couldn't solve it. Why is this not working? Am I stupid? Am I just too dumb to do this? I walk away and I come back, and then boom, the answer's right in front of me all along. Why is it like that? Because sometimes we just need to take a breath. AI isn't going to tell you that, guys, right? It's going to tell you, hey, you should be able to push to X, Y, Z. And when you push, when your brain is not ready, you will not be able to digest, comprehend, and process it. Problem is, with these programs, AI is not going to do that. They took away the one source that students needed most, not the instructors. You don't need live classes. That is helpful, but the concept of live classes being all your value is bullshit. What you need is mentorship afterwards to support you as a human. And terrible companies like this are the ones that are taking advantage of you. Let's see what else they had to say.
Going through with us, where someone like that was like the highest value. That was tying everything in
right there
for the day and demonstrating like real world applications. So what's the, I guess, what benefit are we seeing? Like, how is this maximizing ROI for us? I understand, resources may be needing to be.
Yeah, definitely. So some of the responsibilities that the cohort leads had are being reallocated to other team members.
Long story short, he says they're getting new software. They're going to do some special things, and they're essentially going to take all of that work and now dump it on other individuals and make them responsible for handling it. Great idea. Great idea, right? Now, I want to give one caveat before I continue the absolute roast of App Academy. Business decisions have to be made at times. Now, if he would have started this off and said, guys, we had to fire all of our team leads. The reason why is they were underperforming. They were not meeting our core values as a company. They were not completing work on time. They were not supporting their students. Quite frankly, they really weren't great coaches. Good people, potentially, right? They could be the best of people, but they weren't completing what they needed to. That happens. I've had to fire tens of people, and it was not fun whatsoever, right? We've had remarkable instructors. We've actually had something really horrible like this happen at Devslopes, where I had to shut down an iOS and Android program, and it was so ugly. It was not fun. But you have to do what you have to do from a business standpoint sometimes. And guess what? We put mentors in there to support them in the meantime. You have to do what you have to do, right? But coming off in the sense of saying, hey guys, we've been looking at doing this for a long time, but this is where things get confusing. He's saying that, we need to get rid of these people. We move their responsibilities to other things, and we've been looking at getting resources to help take care of this, yada, yada. He's just lying to the students and pandering just to hope that this wave of everything just is taken over. And the reality is, this is not a real CEO. This is not a school looking out for its students' best interests. If we did something like this, our CTO and head of education for coding, Peter, would tear me apart. He has explicitly told me, the moment I feel like you are not doing what is good and best by the students, I'm out. I don't need this company. I can go get a job at Apple. I can go get a job at Google, anywhere in the world, and clear north of $1 million a year. Fact. But yet he chooses to stay here because software engineering changed his life. That's why he's here. That's why everybody's here. We're so obsessed with education and the opportunities it opens up for us and then the world by being better at our jobs and having great careers. Now, we're going to jump here now to 17 minutes because this is where things start getting pretty ugly.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of Stefan's point there, can you speak to the timing of this announcement? Like, was it closing on a contract? Was it, like something related to
what he's speaking about is a software that they're now taking on to help with coaching. To be specific, that's what he's speaking about right now. They laid off all these employees to then bring on these individuals who would now be, or this software, the AI that's going to be taking over that role.
Vendors that you're using, kind of what went into, this happening today, and then maybe you can walk us through kind of the journey.
Sure. Yeah. No. So this decision did take a few weeks to plan. Not that many weeks, but essentially a short number of weeks. So
he already caught himself. When did Silicon Valley crash? March 10th. It's been since 28. Okay, he's saying that this has been in run for a couple of weeks, and he's about to blame the Silicon Valley crash essentially on this. And I'm calling bullshit.
Finding those, call it couple of weeks back that it took. It was really triggered by looking at the job market as a whole. The kind of looking at the.
So he's saying it's triggered by the job market, but let's keep listening.
What the numbers that we saw in our placement rates and reflections there that we believe will come back, but will take some time to come back, and where we need to shift our support to most support students, and where we need to reallocate resources given a job market that looked essentially like it will be more challenging for longer, given things like the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank and some of these other things that you saw in the headlines over the previous few weeks that
right.
Were some of the inputs to this.
So this was event driven, right? So this this is in reaction to SVB.
So now let's cover this. Start off being the consistent theme of what we have seen is that the inability to place students in jobs has caused them to have a massive setback. And now they're leveraging the SVB, the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, as an event that can now trigger this specific thing to happen. Now, we know that Silicon Valley was built out, right? We know that somebody purchased it. We know that this has been fixed much better. It's still really scary to have all of your money, especially as Devslopes, right? We've had to start diversifying our money in different banks just to make sure that we're safe in case any of them were to crash, especially regional banks. It is my job to know that because I'm a CEO of a company with tens and tens and tens of employees that rely on me and thousands of students. It is my job to perform for them, right? It's not fun, right? I have to have the uncomfortable conversations. I have to fire people. I also have to push people harder than ever. I have to do all of these things. But one thing I'm never going to do is to make the massive mistake that these programs continually make. We have to find the fine line between universities and these boot camps. And I'm calling them boot camps because they have this stupid idea of 12 to 24 weeks, right? It's really dumb. And now you have universities on the other hand saying it takes 4 years or 7 years to get your master's. That's stupid too. Both of these are dumb, right? What happened with boot camps is they said, we don't need to do 4 years. We could force it in 3 to 6 months. They started off as 3 months and they went to 6 months because they had to, right? They had to go to 6 months because, 12 weeks is actually, it's a little bit of a stretch. All the smart software engineers started telling everybody, guys, this is stupid. You're not going to do that. I don't want a junior dev that's been in for 12 weeks. They're stupid. They're unhelpful. I'm having to baby them more than I've ever had to baby other people. You have to factor that in. Just getting to the point to where you're ready to be employed, it's not just about the technical skills. It's about the life skills, the professional skills that the vast majority of people have to gain. The vast majority of people do not have the professional skills, right? So when I have students showing up to coaching calls, for example, wearing sweatshirts that are dirty, their hair is unkept, their room is a mess. Guys, before you do anything else, you need to show that you're a professional. If you want somebody to hire you, you need to take care of yourself, right? Groom yourself some, right? Clean up the background, make yourself presentable. These are the small things that have to be taught that these programs do not notice because it's just not in their interest. They don't have the time to teach you the professional and the life and communication skills that you need to achieve that success. And this is where it comes in. Right? Universities did one thing really, really well. The one thing they did abnormally well was saying, guys, it is our jobs to be educators, to support you and teach you what you need to have success. And it is your job to get a job. Realistically, I cannot guarantee you a job any more a personal trainer can guarantee you a six-pack. right? If you are not showing up doing everything that you can, you're not going to get that. And wherever your starting point is, it'll be harder depending on where you are. If you come to me and I'm a personal trainer and you weigh 250 pounds and you're 38% body fat, it's going to take you 2 years plus probably to get that six pack. But if you come to me, you're relatively lean, you've always been active, and you just have about 20 pounds you need to lose to be there, it'll be a lot easier, even though you're still going to have to do the exponentially hard part. So your ability to get a job really depends on what your starting point is. Do you know about coding experience prior to this? What is your aptitude? Maybe you don't have the highest IQ. That's fine. I am somehow the CEO of a tech company. I'd be willing to bet my IQ is just as average as everybody else's. I'm not an abnormally smart person. I graduated 11 out of 13 in a random high school in the middle of a cotton field. And the only two kids underneath me barely even came to school because they were working on farms, right? I hit the very low standard of the IQ level here. But the one thing I did do a great job of, persistence, mastery, learning how to communicate with people, developing myself. This is why it is a 16-month-long process. And programs like this will eat you up and kick you out so fast, right? They're wanting to charge, they used to charge $20,000. They changed this month. They reduced it to $14,000. They're going to increase these prices later on, guaranteed. And they're going to extend this program to longer than 6 months. Every single program is going to extend their program longer than 6 months, increase their prices. Right? Climb Credit, exact same provider we used. They're charging them an extra pretty much $3,000. There's going to be an extra $500 in there in fees. Monthly payment amount, $465. There's a reason why they're making you pay it back in 36 months, by the way. That's because they do not have good repayment rates. Their income share agreement, up to $31,000. In-state deferred tuition, $31,000. $861 for a monthly payment. This is wild after you get hired. By the way, when do payments start? This after you get hired has a lot of context into it. Actually, placement protection. Income share agreement, 15% of salary will not exceed this. I'm really torn on a couple things. I don't believe this after you get hired context. So let me tell you what I know. After you start class 36 months, that's true. When I spoke to income share agreements, right, we spoke to two different companies. One was called Blair. I forgot the name of the other one. And they specifically told us this. They said, hey, guys, we want you to be ethical. We want you to be good. We tell everybody we don't want you to charge more than 2.5 times the price of your program, but some people charge as much as four times the cost, because you can do whatever you want realistically. This is where we see people getting in trouble. So what I need y'all to think about here is, let's be mindful. When it says after you get hired, when do they say you're likely to get hired? These companies are saying you're going to get a job within 6 to 8 months of joining the program. That's when your payments start, right? After you get hired is simply a time frame that they typically have a label attached to it. It's no different than coding, right? They have a label attached to when you're going to get a job. And that's typically 6 to 8 months. Maybe you have an additional deferral on there, but you're going to pay that money. The reason why I know you're going to pay that money, this is how these income share agreements work and the deferred tuition. They get paid immediately. Right? So the moment you sign the income share agreement, they typically get paid around 40 to 50% of that amount, depending on what your credit history is. Same thing for deferred tuition. So they're getting paid money, right? You can't think that you're just not going to get paid, because that's how that works. So at the end of the day, what I'm seeing is a completely fraudulent system at play. People making promises that they cannot deliver on. They cannot guarantee you a job, right? They cannot guarantee to teach you how to become a software engineer in 24 weeks, right? They simply just took 12 times it by 2. Hey, let's just 12 is a good number. Why don't we let's just increase it to 24 weeks, right? You want to know how that conversation took place in a boardroom somewhere? Now all the boot camps do 24 weeks. Hey guys, 12 weeks isn't working too well right now. No one's really getting jobs. No one really knows what they're doing. We need to increase the length. Well, what about 20 weeks? No, I don't think that's enough. What about 24? 24, it's double the previous time. It means they're going to get double the resources. Why would you say it's 24? Cool. Okay, it's 24. It's 24 weeks. Yeah, 24 weeks. It's now a 24-week program. We're going to be able to charge twice as much. We're good to go, right? That's how these programs operate. It's so insane. I cannot hit it home one more time. For you to become a successful software engineer or make any kind of successful career transition, this is a 16-month-long process. You're going to have to get all the skills. You're going to have to work closely with a mentor who coaches you on a human level and a software engineering level. You're going to need someone like one of our empowerment specialists who's dedicated to helping you with the life skills you need. So if you have issues holding yourself accountable, if you have issues managing your time, we have a woman who's getting her PhD right now in psychology, who's dedicated to helping our students. Scratch that. She's actually getting her doctorate in psychology. And she's a licensed therapist who helps all of our students in group calls. She has 5 calls a day in group settings where she supports all of the students just with the life skills they need to really help themselves out. Because when you're making this career transition, a lot of times there's a lot of life transitions and personal transformations that have to take place at the same time. And then you need the freelance support. You need to be able to get professional work you could show employers, because everybody's GitHub looks the same now. So how will you stand out? Well, the first thing you got to do, get freelance work with real testimonials from clients who are saying, hey, working with Nathan was amazing. He was able to complete this project on time. He communicated great. He was a real professional. And then finally, you learn how to actually get solid jobs. You learn how to go through the interview process. You learn how to prepare yourself for the job interviews, the data structure and algorithm questions. You do everything. You do the full gambit. And then you are a real full stack employee. Not only do you have the technical skills, you have the professional skills, you have the life skills and the personal skills to have success in that role. And that is why programs like App Academy will never compare to a program like Devslopes. They will never be able to truly help you reach the life that you want, and they will never help you in bulk achieve a meaningful, high impact, high income career. The reason why it's not built for it. We're seeing something similar to just what happened with crypto. All the coins popped up and everybody jumped in. Only a few will survive. And the few are programs like Devslopes that were created to help every single person out there who needs a flexible schedule, who needs coaching not only for software engineering, right, but at a very human level, both in their career levels, their professional levels, their personal levels. They need support in every area. And that is, again, why you need to truly reconsider what you're looking for in a program. Now, if you want to learn more about Devslopes, this is what I want you guys to do. There's this video on this page right here. It's called How to Build Your Resume by Earning Income While You Learn How to Code. And watch this demo to learn the 3 secrets that we teach that no bootcamp or courses will ever show you, and how you can use these skills to build a 6-figure coding career. This career, it might take you 2 or 3 jobs before you get there, but guess what? It's realistic. Right? This is going to be a video. I wear a really ugly scarf. It's an old video. I need to reshoot it. It's about 1.5 years old. But this has been the core premise of how Devslopes works. And this is exactly what you need to look into. And then you can go look at what our students have to say. You can go to our student alumni page and look at what all of our real students have to say. But I want to be the individual to show you the real process on how to make a career transition. The next video, I'm going to go into detail a little bit more on my story and the importance of what grit plays. So keep a very close eye out for that. And I cannot wait to help you out. And again, make sure, do not fall into the traps that are being set by these programs. See you in the next video.